Good morning, dear students. Today we shall learn the new topic, drainage system of India. So, children, do you know Indian drainage system consists of a large number of small and big rivers. It's the outcome of the evolutionary process of the three major physiographic units and the nature and characteristics of precipitation. The Himalayan drainage system includes the Ganga, the Indus, and the Brahmaputra river basins. So, it's been said a drainage system is an integrated system of tributaries and a trunk stream which collects and drains surface water into the sea, lake, or some other water body. So, the drainage pattern of an area is a result of the geological structure of the respective areas. And also, we know the river system provides irrigation, drinking water, navigation, power, as well as grants livelihoods for a large number of population. And students, we all know that we can't live without water. Not only us, even the birds, animals, and all living beings. So we cannot imagine a life without water, really. And they are actually these rivers. We see the drainage system of India is broadly divided into two major groups on the basis of their location. They are Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So let's learn about the Himalayan rivers. So rivers are the main source for us, water source, and we drink from that water only. Let's see the Himalayan rivers. It's actually divided here, the Himalayan rivers, Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra. So first let's learn about the Indus river system. So it originates from the northern slope of the Kailash range in Tibet near Mansarovar Lake at an elevation of about 5,150 meter. So it's really so long, and its length is about 2,880 kilometer. And the river, actually they say it flows through the Ladakh and Zaskar ranges and creates deep gorges. And also we see from north, we can say actually the river, it runs through Jammu and Kashmir, turns south near Chillar and enters Pakistan. And we have the major, its tributaries, if we say, means they are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias and Satluj. And also it enters into the Arabian Sea, it said. And students, the river has a total drainage area extending 11,65,500 square kilometer, in which, if you see, 321,289 square kilometer areas are drained in India. So Indus river has a beautiful way of really flowing. Let's learn about Ganga. So students, first of all, you must know the meaning of perennial. Actually, these are some perennial rivers, and Ganga is one among that. What do you mean by perennial? Do you know? Perennial word tells about actually the rivers which doesn't dry up even the time of summers when there is no proper rain. Even at that time, we find it will be flowing throughout the year. So we call it as perennial river. It doesn't get dried up. So we find some of the areas when you travel by bus or train, you might have seen some of the areas which are being dried up. Once upon a time there would have been some rivers flowing, and now it's dried up. But perennial rivers are not like that. It always remains. It keeps on flowing. So we call it perennial. And the river Ganga is one of the best example for it. So let's see about it. The Ganga plain. So it's also been said most densely populated place in India, and many towns are developed on the banks of this river. The river Ganga originates as Bhagirathi from the Gangotri glacier in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand state. So do you know the meaning of glaciers? Glacier, students? Actually, in mountain ranges like Himalayas, if you see on the top, it has a white cap, like covered fully with the snow, fully the ice. Actually it melts, and earlier they say it was just like a drop, like it was falling, and nowadays it's started melting due to globalization. So it's just flowing like a river so much it's getting melted. so through which we get this type of river. It's continuously it's flowing throughout the year. So one among that is the river Ganga. So that's what they call it as Gangotri Glacier in Uttarkashi. So it's in a district of Uttarakhand. And the next one we see the length of the river Ganga is about 2525 kilometer. So some of the major tributaries are the Gomti, Gandak, Kosi and Ghangra. And from south Yamuna, Sun, Chambal, etc. has been given. Then we can also see the combined river of Ganga and Brahmaputra creates the world's largest delta known as Sundarbans in Bangladesh. And also we find some other rivers here. The major river here we find about the next one, the Brahmaputra river system. The river Brahmaputra actually it originates from Chiamungang glacier of the Kailash river. So we can say the total area is about 5,80,000 square kilometer, but the drainage area lying in India is 1,94,413 square kilometer. So we can say the length of this river is about 2,900 kilometer. And so do you know, the students, you must know what is the meaning of tributaries first of all. So in each and every topic I am saying the word using the word tributaries. Tributaries are like branches. You might have seen in the map one long river and it has so many branches, and those branches we call it as tributaries actually. And here Brahmaputra also has some tributaries, and we can see Tista, Manas, Barak, Subhadri are some of them. And this river is called as Jamuna in Bangladesh. So some of the characteristics of Himalayan rivers, let's see. Actually it originates from Himalayas, long and wide, perennial in nature, and also it's unsuitable for hydropower generation. Middle and lower courses are navigable. And the next we'll learn about the peninsular rivers. And you know students, India is a peninsula, 3 sides covered with water. So let's see, in South India we can see the peninsular rivers, and these rivers originate from the Western Ghats. These are seasonal rivers, and these rivers flow in valleys with steep gradients based on the direction of flow. The peninsular rivers are divided into west flowing and east flowing rivers. So let's learn about the east flowing rivers. The first, number 1, Mahanadi. So its length is 851 kilometer. So the river Mahanadi actually it originates near Sihawa in Raipur district in Chhattisgarh and flows through Odisha. And the main stream of Mahanadi gets divided into several tributaries such as Paika, Perupa, Chitratala, Genguti and Nan. So the Mahanadi empties its water in Bay of Bengal. It flows over there in Bay of Bengal. So we call it as east flowing river. And the next Godavari. So this is the longest, we can say longest river with an area of 3.13 lakh square kilometer among the peninsular rivers. And they also call it as a Vrida Ganga. It actually originates in Nasik district of Maharashtra and a portion of Western Ghats. And it flows through the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And it flows actually before joining Bay of Bengal. And we'll see the river near Rajamudri gets divided into 2 channels called Vashishta and Gautami and forms one of the largest deltas in India. So students, let's learn about Krishna, the next river, important river. We can say its length is 1400 kilometer. So it's second longest peninsular river. And Bhima, Peduvagu, Musi, Koyna, Tungabhadra, major tributaries of this river. And this river originates from a spring at the place called Mahabaleshwar in the western Ghats of Maharashtra. Do you know the meaning of spring, students? It just flows from the earth it comes out. So natural source which is given by God, it's by nature. So we call spring. It flows 24 hours actually. So such type of water, it's available only in very few parts. So like that, from there it originates, they say, about river Krishna. It also flows through Andhra Pradesh and joins in Bay of Bengal at Hamasla Devi. So students, let's learn about Kaveri. So you have learnt and we have heard so much in news and many more. It's really, in controversy you find this river between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It's a big politics. It's going on. It's still going on. You know well about it. Actually, it originates in Talakaveri, Kudagu hills of Karnataka. So the length, if you see, means it's 800 kilometer. And we can say the river is also called Dakshin Ganga, or also they call it as Ganga of South Harangi, Hemavati, Kabini, Bhavani, Arkavati, Noyal, Amravati. All these are some of the tributaries of this river. And we can say here, when it enters Tamil Nadu, the river continues through a series of twisted well gorges until it reaches Guggenagul Falls and flows through a straight, narrow gorge near Salem. So, at last this also empties into the Bay of Bengal at Pumbuhar. So, let's now next, students, let's learn about the west flowing rivers. In that, number 1, we'll learn about Narmada. So, it's actually it is in Madhya Pradesh. The river rises in Amarkantak Plateau, so which is in Madhya Pradesh. So this also we can say it flows over for a distance of about 1,312 kilometer, and it covers an area of 98,796 square kilometer and forms 27 kilometer long estuary before outfalling into the Arabian Sea through the Gulf of Cambay. And some of the tributaries we can say here: Burhner, Kalon, Heron, Banja, Dodi, Shakar, Tawa, Barna and Kolar. So some of these are the tributaries here we can see, and it's the largest among the west flowing rivers of peninsular India. So let's learn about Tapti. So Tapti, we can say it's a major river of the peninsular India. So its length is about 724 kilometer, and it's one of the, you can say it is one of only the 3 rivers in peninsular India that runs from east to west, the other being the Narmada and Mahi. And the Tapti river rises from Multai in the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh at an elevation of about 752 meter. And some of the tributaries are Vaki, Gomai, Arunavati, Ansar, Nesu, Bore, Panjra and Bori. So this also falls into the Arabian Sea. And students, in today's lesson you have learnt about all these types of rivers, and only because of these rivers farmers are getting enough water for irrigation, and we people are able to live. And without water we cannot imagine a life, as I said, whether it's drinking, washing, bathing, and all types of activities, or even many of the industrial works and everything, it's depend on water, and no one can live really. You can't imagine life. So in this lesson you have learnt about the major source, and in India what are the types of rivers and where it flows. That more totally you have learnt about the drainage. So students, in today's lesson only this much we come to an end. So thank you.